Hello students. In my previous session, I discussed on various transformation functions like point transformation function, linear transformation function, log transformation function, power law transformation function. In today's session, I am going to discuss on piecewise linear transformation function. And this approach is quite complementary with the transform functions which I discussed in my previous session. Okay. And this transformation function has both advantage as well disadvantage. This piecewise linear transformation is quite less complex compared to the other transformation functions which I discussed in my previous class. And this also has a disadvantage, like it requires more user inputs. That is the disadvantage of this technique, and the advantage is that it is less complex. Okay. So now in this piecewise linear transformation we have three different applications. So the first is that contrast stretching. Second is intensity level slicing. Third is bit plane slicing. So these are the three applications or three techniques which comes under piecewise linear transformation function. First, let us discuss on the contrast stretching. So whenever we capture an image, sometimes we get a low quality image. That is due to restrictions with the dynamic range in the sensing elements of the imaging system which we use, or sometimes it might be due to very poor illumination while capturing the image, or it is sometimes due to wrong fixing of lens aperture in the digital cameras or the imaging system which we use to capture the image. So these low contrast images should be enhanced. So to improve the quality of these low contrast images, we go for contrast stretching. Okay. So here in this contrast stretching, whenever we have a narrow range of intensity level in an image, so we are going to expand that to wider range of intensity levels in order to improve the contrast of the image so that the image quality is enhanced. Okay. So now this contrast stretching can be explained with a transform function . Input intensity level or output intensity level? Yes. So we all know that the transformation function is represented by the expression S is equal to T of R, where R represents the intensity level of the input pixel and S represents the intensity level of the output pixel after transformation, and T represents the transform operator. Right. So now this is the graph of output intensity level S versus input intensity level R. So here look at this graph. Here this transform function contains two coordinates, that is r1 s1 and r2 s2. the values which we choose for these coordinates decides the type of operation which we are performing on this input image. For example, like if I consider case 1, if R1 is equal to S1 and R2 is equal to S2. So let me consider the case where R1 is equal to S1 and R2 is equal to S2. So that means here let me consider this point where R1 is L by 4 and S1 is L by 4, and you just consider another point where R2 is equal to S2. So let R2 is equal to 3L by 4 and S2 is equal to 3L by 4. Now this is a linear function. This performs the operation of identical. That means here the intensity level after transformation also remains same as the original image. Okay, so there is no change in the intensity level if suppose I choose R1 is equal to S1 and R2 is equal to S2. So this performs the operation of identical function. Okay, so next let me consider another case where I choose R1 is equal to R2 and S1 is equal to 0 and S2 is equal to L minus 1. So here we know that what is 0, what is L minus 1. If suppose we have an image having the intensity value varying from 0 to L minus 1, where 0 represents the black and L minus 1 represents the maximum intensity level, that is white, and we have intermediate intensity levels between these two values for a gray image, right? So now if I choose R1 is equal to R2 and S1 is equal to 0 and S2 is equal to L minus 1, then so let R1 is equal to R2 be L2. Here R1 is also L2, R2 is also L by 2, R1 is also L by 2 and R2 is also L by 2. So R1 is equal to R2 and S1 is equal to 0. R1 is L by 2, S1 is 0, and here R2 is L by 2 and S1 is L minus 1. If I consider these coordinates R1, S1, R2, S2 at these points, then the graph is like this. So now look at this graph. This performs thresholding function. So if the input intensity level of R is less than this L by 2, then after transformation it is assigned with the value 0. Okay, that is this pixel becomes black. If the input intensity level is greater than L by 2, then after transformation it is assigned with the value 1 or L minus 1, which is white. Okay, so this represents thresholding function, whereas this gives only the binary image. Okay, so now if in case 3 I choose R1 with some minimum intensity value and R2 with some maximum value of this input intensity level, and S1 is equal to 0 and S2 is equal to L minus 1. If suppose I choose some random value so that R1 is the minimum intensity value of the input image and R2 is the maximum intensity level of the input image, then and S1 is equal to 0 and S2 is equal to L minus 1. Let us say this randomly appears here, these 2 points. And now at this case, this transfer function performs contrast stretching operation. So now to illustrate this contrast stretching, let me consider an example. So look at this figure. So this figure 1 is the transfer function which I have shown just now, and next figure 2 is the low contrast image of pollen grains. So this is a poor quality pollen image. So here the fine details of the image is not visible. So to improve the quality of the image, we go for contrast stretching using piecewise linear transformation function. So here in this, if the values of R1 S1 and R2 S2 are chosen as in the case 3, then it produces the resultant contrast image. So figure 3 is the result of contrast stretching. So this figure, in this figure, it is very easy to identify the fine details present in the image. Okay. So next is figure 4. So in figure 4, here we have chosen R1 S1 and R2 S2 as in case 2. So this represents the thresholding function using piecewise linear transformation function. So this is the binary image which has only two discrete intensity levels, that is black and white. Okay. So by choosing different values for R1 S1 and R2 S2, we can go for different transformation functions under piecewise linear transformation function, and as in case 3, choosing these values, we can perform contrast stretching using piecewise linear transformation function. Next is intensity level slicing. This means that here we will highlight a particular range of intensity levels which is of interest in the image. Okay. So this is used in medical applications, in X-ray images. In order to enhance only the flaws present in the X-ray image, we use this particular intensity level slicing. That means here we will highlight the range of intensity levels which is of interest. So here in X-ray image, the intensity levels which contains flaws is of interest. So to highlight these intensity level, we use intensity level slicing. This is also used in application like satellite imaging. So here, even with satellite images, if suppose we need to highlight the water bodies present in the image, then the intensity levels, the range of intensity levels which involves water bodies will be highlighted in order to extract only the objects which is of interest in the image. Okay. So these are some of the applications of intensity level slicing. Again, here in intensity level slicing, there are two approaches. So let me explain this with the transfer function. So now look at these graphs. So in first approach, here we will highlight the range of intensity levels from A to B, and the all other intensity levels are reduced to lower value here in first approach. Okay. Whereas in second approach, the range of intensity levels which are of interest from A to B is been highlighted, whereas the other intensity levels are preserved as it is without altering them. Okay, so these are the two approaches in intensity level slicing. So the first approach is that here we will highlight the range of intensity levels from A to B, whereas the other intensity levels are reduced to lower values. And whereas in second approach, the range we will highlight the range of intensity levels from A to B, whereas the other intensity levels are preserved as it is. So these two approaches are used in the case where we have to extract only the object which is of interest in that image. Okay, a good example for this is as shown in this figure. So now look at this figure 1. So this is the angiogram image and this is the original image. So here in this angiogram image, the object which is of interest is the blood vessel. So the range of intensity levels that involves blood vessels should be highlighted, and other objects is of not much interest to us. So that should be reduced. So figure 2 is the result of the first approach. So now look at that figure 4. Here the range of intensity level of the blood vessel is been highlighted, whereas the other intensity levels is been reduced. So except blood vessel, the remaining part of the image is made darker. So that is of not much interest, therefore that is been made darker. Okay, so now look at this third image. So this is the result of this second approach. So here we are highlighting the range of intensity levels that includes blood vessel, but the other intensity levels, the other parts and other objects having the other intensity levels are preserved as it is in third image. So here this type of intensity level slicing is used in order to extract only the object which is of interest in that particular image. Okay. Next is bit plane slicing. So in intensity level slicing, we will highlight only the range of intensity levels which is of interest, right? Whereas in bit plane slicing, we will highlight the entire image appearance which is specific to that particular bit plane. Okay, so to illustrate this, let me consider an example of the 8-bit image. So we know that an 8-bit image will be having the intensity levels, that is 2 power k. Here k is equal to 8, therefore 2 power 8 is equal to 256. So this 8-bit image will be having the intensity levels ranging from 0 to 255. That is, it has 256 discrete intensity levels. So this image is having the intensity levels ranging from 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 255. Okay. So here, in order to understand bit plane slicing, first we should know what is a pixel. We know that pixel is a digital number which represents bits present in that particular image, right? So a pixel is a digital number which represents bits. So here each and every pixel is having a certain intensity level, and each pixel, for example, if I consider this pixel in this 8-bit image, this pixel is represented by 8 bits. Okay, and this we call as least significant bit, and this bit we call as most significant bit. Okay, whereas in images, in 8-bit image, for each and every pixel, each bit is associated with a bit plane, that is so this is bit plane 1 and this is bit plane 8. So this bit plane 1 gives very less significant information, least significant information of the image. Whereas this bit plane 8 gives most significant information of the image. So in 8-bit image plane, each and every pixel is associated with 8-bit planes, starting from bit plane 1 to bit plane 8, and this bit plane 1 represents least significant information, bit plane 8 represents most significant information, and the lower order bit planes usually is associated with least significant information, and the higher order bit planes like 6, 7 and 8, this gives most significant information. So here, using a particular or a specific bit plane, we can highlight the entire image appearance based on that specific bit plane. So to illustrate this bit plane slicing, let me consider an example. So look at this figure. So here in this figure 1, this is the grayscale image. This is original image, and figure 2 represents bit plane 1 of this original image, and figure 3 represents bit plane 2 of this original image. So in next row, the first, that is the figure 4. So this represents the bit plane 3 of this original image, whereas the last figure, so the last figure represents bit plane 8 of this original image. So now observe that the last figure conveys more information compared to the first bit plane image, right? So bit plane 1, bit plane 2, bit plane 3 contains very less significant information, whereas the higher order bit planes like 6, 7 and 8, this gives most significant information, that is 6, 7 and 8. So sometimes in order to compress the image, we can use these most significant bit planes only to represent the image and give good appearance, overall appearance of that particular image. So usually this bit plane slicing is used in compression technique, image compression. So in order to store the images, we require very huge memory. So for that, to avoid that, we will compress the images. So bit plane slicing is one technique to compress the image, so that here we can avoid the lower order bit planes and we can use only the higher order bit planes, so that the image quality is not very much. As well, with this bit plane slicing, using this most significant bit planes like bit plane 6, bit plane 7 and bit plane 8, we can reconstruct back the original image. Okay, so if at all we use higher order bit planes, we can reconstruct back the original image. Otherwise, with lower order bit planes, we cannot reconstruct the original image. Okay, so this is all about bit plane slicing, and this is usually used in compression technique. Okay, so this is all about the functions which is performed under piecewise linear transformation function. So next is histogram processing. Histogram is the basis of various spatial domain processing techniques, and this histogram processing is used to improve the quality of the image. Usually this is used in image enhancement techniques, image compression and image segmentations. Okay. So, to understand the concept of histogram. So, given a digital image having a gray level varying from 0 to L minus 1, the histogram of the image is the representation of frequency of occurrence of each gray level, frequency of occurrence of each gray level in the image. So, it is the representation of frequency of occurrence of each gray level which is present in the image. Okay. And this histogram can be represented graphically in the form of plots. Okay. There are two types of plots. Histogram can be represented So, histograms can be graphically represented in the form of plots. So, there are two methods in that. The first method, method 1. So, here in this method, the x-axis has gray level, whereas the y-axis has the number of pixels in the image in each gray level. So, this is a plot of gray level versus number of pixels in the image in each gray level. That means here in this method, histogram is plotted as if suppose we consider the image having the intensity level ranging from 0 to L minus 1, so this represents the number of pixels in the image having these gray levels. Okay. So, if suppose this is the histogram plot for a particular image. Okay. So, this graph represents that here 10 pixels are having the intensity value, intensity level 1, and 20 pixels in the image are having the intensity level 2, and 30 pixels in the image are having the intensity level 3. So, this is the plot of number of pixels having that particular gray level or intensity level versus the gray level varying from 0 to L minus 1. So, here this type of representation can be mathematically expressed as h of Rk is equal to Nk. So, histogram is the discrete function which is mathematically represented as h of Rk is equal to Nk, where Rk is the kth intensity value, kth intensity level, and Nk is the number of pixels in the image with intensity level Rk. So h of Rk is nothing but the number of pixels in the image with the intensity level Rk. For example, if I consider the kth intensity level of this R, this is R. Okay, so if at all I consider this, let this be the K. Okay, so at this intensity level, the number of pixels are 30. Nk is equal to 30. So Rk is the kth intensity level and the histogram is nothing but the number of pixels having that particular intensity level. Okay, so this is the first method. This is how we represent histogram plots, as well mathematically this is how we represent histogram in this method. Okay, so let me consider the second method. So in second method, the x-axis is again a gray level as in the first method, and y-axis is the probability of occurrence of each gray level. The probability of occurrence of number of pixels in each gray level. So this is the second method. So this is a plot of probability of occurrence of number of pixels in each gray level versus the gray level. So here in this case we will not simply find out the number of pixels having this particular intensity level, whereas we find out the probability of occurrence of that number of pixels with that particular intensity level. So mathematically this can be represented as P of Rk is equal to Nk by Mn. So here Rk is the kth intensity level Nk is the number of pixels in the image with intensity level Rk. And Mn is the total number of pixels in the image. So here in this method, rather than simply finding the number of pixels having that particular intensity level, here we find out the probability of occurrence of the number of pixels with that particular intensity level. So this can be done by using this mathematical expression. To find out the probability, we use the ratio Nk by Mn. Here Nk is nothing but the number of pixels having the intensity level Rk. Okay, if suppose I consider Rk as 3, okay, here to find out the probability of occurrence of this, first we need to find out the number of pixels having the intensity of this Rk, okay, divided by the total number of pixels in the image. Okay, so here M is the number of rows, N is the number of columns, the product of rows and columns, this is M, this is N. So number of rows, number of columns gives the total number of pixels present in this image. So probability function is calculated using the number of pixels with the intensity level Rk divided by the total number of pixels present in this particular image. Okay. So here, if suppose as shown in the previous case, if I consider the previous plot, here this intensity level contains 30 number of pixels. That means Nk is equal to 30. And let Mn be randomly, I will choose M is equal to 10, N is equal to 10. Therefore, the total number of pixels is 100. So, Mn is equal to 100. So, probability of occurrence of Rk is equal to 30 divided by 100. Okay. So, this is plotted according to that. Okay. So, this is how we plot histogram using the probability of occurrence of this particular pixel having that particular intensity level. Okay. And here this approach, this method is also called as normalized histogram. This is also called as normalized histogram. So these are the two methods in order to represent the histogram plots. So these histogram plots can be illustrated in a better way by considering an example. So now look at this figure. So here figure 1 shows the darker pollen image. Okay, in this image it is very difficult to identify the fine details which is hidden in this image, and the histogram plot of this image is shown in figure 2, where the x-axis shows the gray levels varying from 0 to L minus 1, whereas y-axis shows the number of pixels in the image with the intensity level Rk or that particular intensity level. Okay. So here in this histogram plot, you just observe that the histogram is concentrated towards the left side of the graph, that is towards the lower intensity levels, that is towards 0, that means towards black. Since it is the darker image, the histogram plot appears like this. Here the histogram is concentrated towards the left side, that is towards lower intensity levels. So next consider the second image. So this is lighter pollen image. So this image appears to be washed out. Even here fine details cannot be visualized properly. So look at this second figure. So this is the histogram plot of this first figure. Here for brighter images, the histogram is concentrated towards the right side end of the graph. That means it is concentrated towards the higher intensity levels. So next consider the third figure. So this is the low contrast pollen image. Even here the fine details are not visible clearly. So in this look at this figure 2. So this is the histogram plot of this low contrast pollen image. So here in that histogram plot, it is been observed that the histogram is concentrated at the center and it is in the narrower range of intensity level at the center. So for low contrast images, always the histogram plots or it lies exactly at the center for a narrower range of intensity levels. Now look at this figure 4. So this is the high contrast pollen image. So here the fine details are clearly visible. So this is a good quality image compared to the previous images. Now look at the histogram plot of this particular image. This histogram plot shows that the plots have been distributed over the entire range of intensity levels from 0 to L-1. As well, the plots are uniform, right. So here the plots are uniform and it is distributed throughout the entire intensity level from 0 to L-1 for high contrast image, that is for good quality image. So if at all you compare this good quality image with the previous image histogram plots, we can say that the good quality images will be having the flattened histogram plots, that is the uniform and it is distributed over the entire range of intensity levels. Whereas if you consider the low quality images, that is if the first image is considered, the darker images will be having the histogram plots towards the lower intensity level, okay, and the lighter images will be having the histogram plots towards the higher intensity level, whereas the low contrast images will be having the histogram plots in the narrower intensity level at the center of the graphs, and the good quality images only will be having the histogram plots for varying for the entire intensity levels from 0 to L-1, and it is uniformly distributed throughout these intensity levels. So in order to say that it is a good quality image, the histogram plots should be having uniform and it should be distributed over the entire range of intensity levels. So by using this histogram plots, we can identify the quality of the image, as well we can modify the quality of the image by using histogram equalization. So this histogram equalization we will be studying in next topic.